Hi everyone, it's Terry from Terry Scrapbooks. I have my Reneabouquets design team project for July ready to share with you today. This time I did a little canvas. I was searching Pinterest one day for something else, but I came across a canvas similar to this by Jane's Lovely Cards. She had done paper teacups stacked up on a canvas. And the first thing I thought of was Renee's die-cut teacups. These come already die-cut and just ready for you to put together. So I thought I would scrap lift that and use Renee's teacups and make a canvas. And it was a lot of fun. And I made a tutorial to go with it in case you all think you'd like to make one. It will be following this little walkthrough, and I'll leave just links in the description to my blog where you can find the materials list and Reneabouquets stores and the items I used. So I used this one here, two of these. These are Reneabouquets Cabbage Rose 3D teacup die sets, and this is Renee's English Tea 3D die cup set. And I bordered things with gold paint, gold metallic paint. This is Blue Fern Studios Sweetheart chipboard Dressform that I've painted with gesso and gold metallic paint. These beads are from my stash, just random beads placed on there, and I've also got Reneabouquets pearl shard glitter glass on there. And I have gold micro beads. Renee doesn't carry them anymore. She has silver ones, which I think silver would look just as nice on this canvas as the gold does. These are Renee's Snow White butterfly set. I got all three on here. And one there. Renee's Mulberry roses. There's the dark pink roses and the dusty rose roses. At the back I've got some of her wide floral embroidered lace running down the back, and coming out of the teacup is her timeless lace. And you can't see it as well here, but they still show the saucer that comes with these two is back behind here. There's tissue paper over the top, and there's another one there, and then some other pieces. So I actually used the whole set of each piece to make this canvas. And then I created a little tea bag tag. This one says, "Life is like a cup of tea. It's all in how you make it." Double-sided. Hung it off there. This can be framed or hung on the wall as it is. I'm going to use one of these easels, and I'm going to put it like this. I know you can't see it here, but I'll have still pictures of it in its place. I think it came out so pretty. Okay, next up will be the tutorial. I hope you enjoy it. Here's our Reneabouquets die-cut teacups, and we're going to do a little prep work first before we do any putting together. I want to put some gold metallic paint around the edges of some pieces for a gilt trim, and I'm just going to use some antique gold acrylic paint. Now you can use embossing powder too if you want. I just decided it was easier and it looks good. I like the acrylic paint. So we need this piece, this piece. These are the teacups, and we're only going to use one saucer piece to gild, but we do want the handles. You don't want these pieces. First thing we're going to do is glue all the handles together like this, so we'll have a sturdier handle. So go ahead and glue all the handles together. Paint. And I'm just going to take I'm not even going to brush it on. I just want the very edges done along the scalloped edge like this. Maybe go in a little to go around the corners. Just pressing it on. The sponge kind of goes around. That's perfect. Just what I want. Doesn't have to be exactly perfect, because if you look at those cups close, they're not perfect. The real china cups. Or maybe the expensive ones are, I don't know. I have grandmother's leftovers. So that's it. Can you see that? Now I want you to do, we have to worry about this drying. That works. Go on and do the edges of all of these and the edges of these. Just the outside edge I would just do. Okay. And I'm actually going to use more gold paint later, and because I'm thrifty, cheap, I stick it in a lunch bag. My brush, twist it up tight, and use something to clamp it closed. Now this will stay wet and I can use it later. You can also take a piece of saran wrap and put it over your paint, and most of your paint will stay wet for you too. So we'll put that aside. See how my little bit wet still, so I'll wait a few more minutes, let those dry. And while I'm waiting, we can do some more prep work with some of our other pieces. Yeah, so we have two more saucers, and these we won't do anything with for right now. And I'm going to make these look kind of like doilies, because I'm going to use them on the background. So I'm just going to take a hole punch and punch a hole in each scallop. All the way around. What do you think? Should we? And I'm just going to do down here, try to make it even. And I'm going to go all the way around on both pieces. Okay, my paint is all dry. So we have 3 teacups. 1, 2, 3 handles, 2 doilies, 1 saucer, and 1 saucer bottom. Now the bottoms have slits in them so that you can bend them up. They might need a little help. Oh, that one did it. So that it'll cut a little bit. Like that. And we're going to glue our saucer together. Decide which side you like better for the front, but we're just going to overlap this tab so that the two scallops meet. Like this. And you don't worry about which side the overlap is, because this will actually be at the back and we won't see it anyway. And then we're just going to glue this piece on by putting glue all around the edge of those tabs. Perfect teacup saucer. So this will go onto the canvas like this. Glue this part down-ish, like that. I made up a template. We're actually going to overlap more than what Renee intended when she made these. So we're going to make a mark 1/2 inch in on that part, and 1 1/4 inch at the top. So my 1 1/4 here. Okay, battery died on me, but luckily we have another one. I don't know where I left off. I'm going to mark, this is the inside of the cup that I prefer to have on the inside. I'm going to mark 1/2 inch, 1 1/4, and going to glue this on the inside, so line up my marks, but this will be at the back, and then a couple clips just to hold it while we want to go on to the next cup. These clips, or paper clips, or clothes clips, anything that will hold it. This on the inside, so 1/2 inch, 1 1/4 inch, glue. Voila. See if our first one's dry. Looks good. So we're going to use this, keep this at the back. So I think I'm going to put my handle over here, which looks like it's about 1 1/4 inches away from the seam. We're going to just fold this backwards, and we're going to just fold about 1/4 inch of this backwards, so like this. Okay, I lost the file that showed me putting on the teacup handles, but essentially I folded them back from the crease line about 1 1/4 inch for the top and 3/4 inch from the bottom, but that's not, mostly you're imagining it here and you want your handle over here. It's about a 1/2 inch down from the top edge, and it's just folded and glued. Both the pink ones go the same direction and the white one on the opposite side. That's all I did. These will stack something like this. So that's how you want them to look when they're done. Dressform is punched out, so let's put some gesso on. Just going to cover with some gesso on this flat side, and that's all I'm going to use to paint. I'm just going to tap it on like that. Let that dry for a few minutes, and you can put this in a plastic bag too and speed things up a little. Now we'll use our gold paint that we kept out here. Random, nothing exciting. Leaving white there. And let's make this shiny with some gloss gel. Now you can use anything coating that will make it shiny. This just happens to be what I had right here on hand. I want to pat some off so it's not too, I want it smooth on my brush. So I'm just going to pat it on. It will dry clear and shiny. And speed that up a little. Get the gold paint out again. And I'm going to put some around the edges. Now if you don't like this after you get it on, you can always go over it with more gesso. But the other thing that's going to happen is I'm going to put tissue paper over everything. So this will all mute out some. Okay, put my gold back in here in case we do want it again. Now we're going to use our doilies, and we're going to put one here. Let's put this one up here because we know there's a pink cup on top. One here. And then we're just going to put some of these dots around. Just glue them on. Keeping this slot kind of at this angle to make sure it's behind the cups. I don't even think I'm going to use this. Maybe we'll find some place to use it later. Now I want my gesso again. And I'm going to make this kind of dry, like a dry brush, as dry as you can get with a sponge. But you put some paint on and basically daub it off so you don't have as much on your brush. And I'm just going to go randomly around. I want this to be a little muted. We're going to put tissue paper over the top, but I want it a little more muted. So it doesn't even have to be perfect. Like I didn't do the whole thing. I'm just taking down some of the color so it doesn't look quite as much like a circle, quite as much like I'm going to mute out that gold some too. Use your finger or whatever you want to make it look the way you want. Okay, good. And don't worry about these sticking up. We'll be putting more stuff on there. Piece of wax paper ready. Piece of tissue paper. I'm just using any old wrapping tissue paper. Crumpling it up right up into a ball. Loosening it up a little. Put that aside. Now I'm going to use clear gesso. You can use Mod Podge. I just don't like Mod Podge that much. Mod Podge is basically watered down glue, and it always, to me, feels tacky. Even after it's been dry for a long time, it has a tacky feeling. So this stuff it's basically made from the same stuff they make acrylic paint with, only there's no pigment in it, and of course it's gesso, so they add some tooth to it. And this dries clear, and it works great for Mod Podge. It doesn't leave that tacky feeling or any kind of shine at all. And that's what I want. But Mod Podge would work too. And I have a brush already waiting. And I'm just going to put kind of a heavy coat of this clear gesso on the top, because I'm going to be sticking that tissue paper over the top. We're going to Mod Podge the tissue paper on. Slop it on any old way, and you want to work kind of quickly so some of it doesn't dry, but putting it on thick will help it from drying too. And then cover this up. We're going to just press this tissue paper down over the top. Making your bunches and bulges go the way you like. And then more gesso or Mod Podge over the top. Just scoop it on so it'll get into the folds too, because then it will hold those folds down. And if you want to play around with designing your tissue paper, you can do it now while it's still wet. Like, you know, crumple it this way, I want to crumple this way. and that kind of thing. Too many crumples. Interesting texture background. And this will lighten up. It will dry even clearer than this. And you'll see better, in other words, down there. You'll see what's behind it better. Once you get it interesting, I like to put on wax paper so I can make this even flatter. And you can use your hands or a brayer. And then when you pull off the wax paper, kind of roll it up at first. That way you don't be pulling your tissue paper up, it stays flat. Well, you can see it still pulls up some. So smooth it back down. And that I'm going to let dry on its own. If you have paper on the back, you might want to lift it up. Put a couple things under it. And let that dry so we can handle it, and then we'll just curl these down at the back. So this is still a little damp. It feels cold to the touch, but I want to fold in the back, so I'm just going to put a decent bead of glue around the back, and I'm just going to fold these in so they can be drying while the front continues to dry. I stepped away for about 20 minutes and it's still wet. We can speed it up a little. It still feels a little cool to the touch, so I think it's still a little damp, but let's just cut off our excess back here. I don't want to tear it because sometimes, surprisingly, it tears more than you want it to. But we're just hacking it off. Oh, looks cool though, I like it. I'm going to put some lace on. Off center. Glue down the back edges. And let's put our dress form on. Just glue that on. And have your hot glue heating up because we'll need it for the next steps. Now I want the saucer. We're going to need our hot glue. And I want it, it's okay for me if it goes off the bottom. And we're going to want the seam at the back. And we're going to push it down this far. So we're going to put glue all the way from here to here on the back. So it will tip up like that. Tip up like that. And I'm glad we didn't use this. We're going to put this on the inside because we don't want the light showing down through it. And it doesn't have to be pretty at all. And kind of make it ovally shaped, if that makes sense. So these sides are up higher than these sides. Just some glue like this. And put it down. And you don't want it to go in a circle because we're going to want to squish this. So it's kind of an oval shape. From the handle over, like an oval shape. Now for our glue, two and 3/4. So at the back, we want this to go squished 2 3/4. So I want glue from here to here at an angle. And this one I want straight up and down. No angles yet. Like that. I think I even want to squish this up, so I'm going to put more glue here so that the saucer tips up even more. It's hot. I'm just holding it till the glue cools, and then it tips up a bit more. And now we want our second cup, which will go on like this with the handle on this side. We want this to be squishier. Three and a half inches. So if we're holding it like this and we squish it right down like this. And I can always put more glue if that's not enough squishing. And I want this to tilt like this. Not all the way down in. I think I do want some more glue. Looks nice. And then the next cup a little higher up. So let's put glue kind of like this. That looks very cool. And before I start decorating with flowers and things, I want to put some more gold paint just around the edges. I'm going to skip the lace. I'm going to take just a little bit of this lace, and I'm just going to have it hang off the top a little. So put a little glue on here. I don't want any ends showing, so I'm going to go just like that. Okay, now you can have fun with flowers and butterflies. How about a couple big ones up here? I twisted the wires together, and then I'm just sticking this one wire in. And I'm going to just put some glue back here and catch this flower petals in it. And put some glue just down here to catch the front flower petals. And how about this one? Up here. This one back here. Let's try these two together. And I tied these two together. I'm going to scrunch this up, but keep it so that the glue can hold the wire. I love it. I love this, but it looks a little plain over here. So let's just get some pretty beads. I've got some pretty pink beads, pretty white beads, 3D gloss gel, and shard glitter glass pearl, and gold micro beads. So when I want to put on big beads, I get my tweezers and I stick the whole bead down in there because I want a big clump to hold that bead really well. Needs to sit right in a nest of glue. So I'm just going to randomly put some beads on. And now that I've put on a few big beads, see the big pink ones? I was trying out some white ones, but I like them. So now I'm going to change how I do it. And I'm going to scoop out some 3D gloss gel and I'm going to add it in spots. Like this. Kind of spread it like frosting. old art teacher used to tell me, look at things upside down, see if they're balanced. Gives you a different perspective. I do it all the time. Okay, I decided to add one more thing. I've created some tea bag tags, the tags that are attached to your tea bag. There's 4 different sayings, and I'm going to have this on my blog for you to save and use to print out for yourself. This one I chose says, "Life is like a cup of tea. It's all in how you make it." And I cut out 2 pieces, just fussy cut around. I printed this onto a piece of cardstock. Then I fussy cut them out, and I have a piece of string, fine string. And I'm going to put glue on the back of one. Put the string in there. And put the other one on top. So now it's double-sided. And then I'm going to cut the string down a bit. I'm going to put some glue down in here. And put the string down in there so that it hangs off the side like this, like a little tea tag. So that's it. It's all finished now. So that's a fun, quick project to use, and Reneabouquets teacups are already die cut out for you.